Beginning. The outcast of the station. Talaran Station hung like a silver, rotating crown above the blue swirl of the gas giant Viscarum. Traders, scientists, mercenaries, diplomats, every species within the reach drifted through its vast corridors. But no one noticed the small figure keeping to the shadows. Her name was Arikala. Ari to those who bothered to shorten it, though few ever did. She belonged to the Xiren, a species known for their crystalline horns, shimmering eyes, and dangerous psionic abilities.
Feared. Distrusted.
Rumors flowed about them like spilled ink. Ari knew the whispers well. She's unstable. Her kind can't hear your thoughts. Stay away. They shouldn't be allowed on stations like this. Xiren only bring trouble. The worst part? She never argued, never defended herself, never spoke of the truth, that she didn't even possess the psionic gift fully. Hers had manifested only in flickers, weak and unreliable. Her own people had exiled her young, calling her an echo without a voice. A defect. And so Ari walked the wide halls of Talaran Station with nowhere to go, and nowhere she was welcome. The cycle lights flickered to nighttime mode as she tried, once again, to request shelter. She approached a door labeled HAB 3472, Multi-Species Rest Quarters. She pressed the chime. The door slid open just enough for the owner to peek. A Silari male hissed, his reptilian throat vibrating.
No.
We know what you are. Leave. The door slammed. Ari didn't flinch.
She was used to it.
She tried another, and another. Each time she was greeted by doors cracking open only to close as quickly. No vacancies. We don't room with mind readers. Get lost. Find your own kind. Her own kind didn't want her, so she wandered deeper into the station, cold and vibrating with hunger. Xiren physiology demanded high intake of crystalline nutrients. Without them, her vision dimmed, her horns ached, and her limbs trembled. She found herself before HAB 3499, a section on the fringe of the living quarters, often where the poorer or stranger residents ended up. Not dangerous, but forgotten. Just like her. Ari hesitated. She didn't want to be rejected again. Her gaze drifted to the floor. She almost walked away. Then her legs gave out. She collapsed against the wall, sliding down until she sat with her knees to her chest. Her thin cloak wrapped around her like a cocoon. She told herself she'd rest a moment before trying again. Sleep came for her like a thief. Middle, a human finds her. A soft metallic click woke her. A door was opening. She blinked up at a silhouette framed by warm yellow light. The scent of brewed herbs and something toasty drifted past her nose. The figure crouched down. You all right there? The voice was warm. Male. Human. She stared up at him, startled. Humans weren't common on this side of the reach. They tended to group near human-governed territories or research hubs. She'd never interacted with one. Rumor said they were unpredictable, bold, sometimes too curious. His eyes, brown like deep soil, studied her with concern, not fear. Hey, he said again, softer this time. You look like you're freezing. I apologize. Her voice rasped. I will move. I did not mean to obstruct your dwelling. You're not obstructing anything, he replied. I'm more worried you passed out outside my door. He looked down at his wrist device, then back at her horns. You're Xiren, right? Aren't your people supposed to radiate like, I don't know, energy or something? You look drained. She stiffened in embarrassment. My abilities are minimal. I cannot anchor myself properly to the ambient fields. I require supplemental mineral intake, and I have not eaten since. She cut herself off. He didn't need to know. But humans were notorious for their blunt compassion. Since when? She hesitated.
He sighed.
All right then. He extended a hand. Come inside. I've got food.
Heat.
A couch. Her eyes widened. No, she whispered, shrinking back. It is not safe. People dislike my presence. Do I look like people? His smile was lopsided, awkward, and incredibly disarming. My name's Theo Kaplan, and you look like you need a meal more than I need to stand around trying to convince you. Now come on, don't make me freeze out here. Ari stared at his outstretched hand the way one might stare at a star-going supernova. Too bright to be real. She took it, and for the first time in cycles, someone didn't pull away. Inside the human's room, Theo's quarters were small but warm, filled with strange earth trinkets. A tiny plant, a framed picture of a blue ocean, a soft blanket thrown over the couch, a desk scattered with tools and datapads. Ari remained near the doorway, unsure if she was truly welcome. Theo shrugged off his jacket and gestured toward the heating panel.
Sit.
Warm up. She obeyed cautiously, folding herself into a small shape on the floor near the vent. Zyran anatomy loved heat. It soaked into her bones like sunlight. Theo rummaged in a cabinet, pulling out packets of crystallized nutrient bars housed in transparent wrapping. You eat these, right? He asked. Her chest tightened.
Yes.
How did you know which kind to acquire? Had a Zyran acquaintance once. She told me the green ones keep your horns from cracking. Ari touched her horns reflexively. You would give these to me? Of course. But they are not inexpensive. Theo smirked. Neither is starving. She blinked at him, confused and overwhelmed. When she finally bit into one of the bars, her body responded immediately, warmth rippling through her nervous system, her vision brightening, her limbs regaining strength. Theo leaned against the counter, watching her without judgment. So he said, Why were you sleeping in the hallway? She looked down, ashamed. No one would permit me to stay. I have no credits, no people, no belonging. You asked all of them? He asked. She nodded once. And not a single person let you in? Zyran are distrusted, she murmured. Even among those who claim openness, they think we hear thoughts, that we manipulate emotions, that we are dangerous. Theo considered her. Are you dangerous? No, she blurted, then immediately shrank back in embarrassment. I mean, I do not think so. My abilities are weak. Such things are not possible for me. I only wish for rest, safety, quiet. He scratched the back of his neck. Then stay here. She froze, halfway through another bite.
Stay?
I cannot, she whispered. It would be inappropriate. You owe me nothing. Theo shrugged. Maybe not, but you needed help. I can help. That's enough. Ari stared at him, the human who offered what no one else had, kindness without fear or suspicion. A dangerous warmth bloomed in her chest. The days that followed. Ari stayed in Theo's quarters temporarily, though neither of them ever defined what that meant. Days turned into a week, then 2. She slept lightly on the couch, helped organize his tools, even assisted with repairs. She had an instinctive grasp of wiring and microfields that Theo found invaluable. Ari worked quietly, shy but eager. Theo filled the silence with stories, Earth cities full of neon, sports she didn't understand, food she wished she could try. She listened.
He talked.
She mended.
He laughed.
And little by little, she smiled more. But the station hadn't forgotten her presence. Whispers followed her when she occasionally ventured out. That Zyran is still here. Is the human harboring her? Why hasn't security removed her? She'll bring trouble. She always does. Theo ignored them. Ari tried to. But tension grew. The threat. It happened during supply rotation. Ari was simply accompanying Theo to maintenance storage when a group of station officials stopped them. 3 figures, led by a tall, rigid Arcanis officer. Human, the officer barked. Step aside. Theo positioned himself slightly in front of Ari. Is there a problem?
Yes.
The Zyran. She has been loitering, trespassing, and avoiding proper registration. She is not authorized to reside on this station. Ari bowed her head. I have done no harm. That is irrelevant, the officer snapped. Your kind is unstable. We cannot risk psychic contamination. Theo scoffed. She isn't psychic. She is Zyran. Ari flinched as if struck. The officer continued, You will come with us for removal and processing. Theo stepped forward. Processing? What does that mean? Detainment. Relocation. Deportation, if necessary. To where? Theo demanded. The officer sneered. Anywhere she is not our problem. Ari's breath hitched. She had nowhere. No home. No clan. No system that claimed her. Theo felt her trembling behind him. He planted his feet. No, he said simply. The officer's eyes narrowed. Human.
Stand.
Aside. No, he repeated. She's not a threat. She's not hurting anyone. You're just bullying her because you're scared of a stereotype. The Arcanis officer hissed. We will not ask again. Theo's jaw tightened. Then don't expect the answer to change. Ari tugged on his sleeve, voice trembling.
Please.
Do not place yourself in danger because of me. Theo didn't look away from the officer. You shouldn't have to beg for basic dignity. Ari felt her throat constrict. Humans were strange, unpredictable, reckless, and full of something fierce she couldn't name. But this officer didn't care for noble intentions. Very well, he snarled. Security override. Restrain them both. 2 subordinates moved forward. Ari's instincts kicked in. Energy flickered behind her eyes. Weak, sputtering, but present. Do not, she whispered. Do not hurt him. The officer paused, watching the faint glow.
Aha.
So the stories are true. Theo felt Ari's hand clutch his arm. I will go, she whispered, if it protects you. Theo turned to her, voice soft. I'm not giving you up. Not like some piece of contraband. He glared at the officer. You want her? File a request. Bring real evidence. Otherwise get lost. The officer lunged forward, and the station intercom blared. Security breach in Sector 9. All units respond immediately. The officer cursed. This isn't over, he growled before storming away with his team. Theo released a breath. Ari sagged against the wall, shaken. He placed a hand on her shoulder, steady, warm, grounding. You're safe, he said. For how long? She whispered. Long enough, he said firmly, for me to figure something out. The climax, she finally breaks. That night, Ari curled on the couch, her entire body trembling. Theo sat nearby on the floor, tools forgotten, watching her with a growing ache in his chest. Finally, she spoke. I do not understand you, she whispered. That's probably fair. You knew nothing of me. You owed me nothing. Yet you opened your door. Seemed like the right thing to do. But why? She pressed. Why risk yourself? Why challenge authority? Why care? Theo was quiet for a long moment. Then, because I know what it feels like to be unwanted. Ari looked at him sharply. He sighed and leaned back against the couch. Before Earth joined the Reach, humans were treated like primitive animals. Doors shut in our faces everywhere. We were underestimated, mocked, pushed aside. My parents told me stories about it. How people judged them before ever knowing them. Ari swallowed. That pain, you carry it still. He nodded. So when I saw you, he continued, sitting outside my door, freezing and alone, I recognized something. That look people get when they've been pushed out one too many times. Her voice quivered. I did not expect kindness. Theo gave her a small smile. Most people don't expect it until they find it. Ari's eyes shimmered like refracted light. I am not supposed to form attachments, she whispered. Zyron, without clans, we do not belong anywhere. Then belong here, he said softly. Her breath caught. Humans don't reject people for being different. At least, we try damn hard not to. You're not a burden. You're not a monster. You're someone deserving of a home. Ari pressed a hand to her chest, overwhelmed. Something inside her cracked, not in pain, but in release.
She cried.
Quiet, crystalline tears that glowed faintly. Zyron tears were rare, distilled emotion. Theo didn't say anything. He just sat there, letting her rest her forehead against his shoulder until her trembling eased. Ending, Humanity Rises. The following morning, Theo left early. He told Ari to stay put and promised he'd be back. Ari waited, anxiety twisting her stomach. What if he didn't return? What if security took him? What if she had finally ruined the only kindness she'd received? Hours passed. Footsteps approached. The door slid open, and Theo stepped in, tired but triumphant. Ari leaped to her feet. You returned. Well, yeah, he grinned. What? You think I'd leave you behind? What did you do? She whispered. He handed her a data pad. On it was an official document stamped by Talaran Station Command. Temporary Protective Sanctuary Status. Authorized sponsor. Theo Kaplan, human. Ari stared at it, unable to breathe. You sponsored me?
Yep.
Got into an argument with half the command deck. Nearly got thrown out, but a human diplomat overheard and helped file your case. Turns out you qualify for sanctuary status under emergency humanitarian codes. Well, sapientarian codes, technically. Ari covered her mouth. But why would they approve? She whispered. Because I told them the truth, Theo said. That you deserve safety. And that I'd vouch for you. Her knees weakened. You fought for me. Twice now, actually, he said. But hey, humans are stubborn. Ari's hands trembled as she held the data pad. For the first time, she whispered, I am recognized. Protected. Theo stepped closer, placing a hand gently on her arm. For the first time, he corrected, you're home. She lifted her head slowly. Home. If you want it to be, he said. Her crystalline eyes glowed softly. I want it, she whispered. More than anything. Theo smiled wide.
Then stay.
Not because you have nowhere else to go. Not because I feel sorry for you. Stay because you're my friend. Because you deserve a place where someone opens the door. Ari didn't hesitate. She wrapped her arms around him, a Zyron embrace that symbolized deep trust. Thank you, Theo Kaplan, she whispered. For seeing me. For fighting for me. For opening your door. He hugged her back, careful of her horns. Anytime, Ari. And in that quiet room on the edge of Talaran Station, a Zyron outcast and a stubborn human formed something rare. A home. A bond. A defiance of fear. And a reminder that sometimes the universe changes not through war or diplomacy, but because one human opened a door